All right, welcome back. My name is Bardic, bringing you another video on Ashes of Creation. If you do enjoy this content and want to see more of it, please do drop a like and subscribe. I also stream Ashes of Creation content on Twitch if you want to swing by. A quick disclaimer, any information about systems or experiences from the alpha test are subject to change. Many of the systems are just placeholders or at minimal functionality as we are in a true alpha test. Today's topic is nodes and their governments. We're going to cover a bit about nodes themselves, then get into how they are governed and how exactly this just might ruin your day. If you're not already somewhat familiar with nodes and Ashes of Creation, Ironsmithy has a great video covering everything you need to know. Link in the description below. Now, nodes are a relatively new introduction to the MMO genre, but the idea has been around for a long time. World of Warcraft toyed with the idea of a node-like system back around the TBC days, where players can actually affect and build the world around them. BDO has a node system, but is more like a passive minigame than actively world-changing. Amazon had talked about a node system based around PvP during the initial inception of New World. Now, this was obviously before they completely lost their identity. From what I have played of New World, all the nodes are just fixed towns that different factions will fight for control over. Now, don't get me wrong, I do hope that New World is a good and successful game, and I'll definitely try it on release, but obviously from recent events, it seems to be out of touch with its player base. I mean, honestly, it seems like the game is just going through midlife crisis after midlife crisis. Ashes of Creation will be the first game to implement a node system that actually changes the overworld as you progress them. Not only will nodes themselves level up and progress, but the areas around them will as well. In the recent alpha testing, we were running into an issue where when we tried to cross a certain river, it would bug your character out and make them start swimming through the air, effectively allowing you to fly. Late in the test, we leveled up the nearby node, and a bridge appeared at the location that was bugged out. Obviously, there's some kind of weird interaction between the character and the invisible bridge. With that segue complete, let's get back to the nodes. It is a pretty challenging idea in terms of programming and also design. Ashes of Creation has said that each node will have a unique layout with different architecture based on which race contributes the most. This means that they need unique designs for all 6 stages of each of the 103 nodes. It is going to be an amazing and immersive system once complete. The real point of this discussion, however, is specifically how node leadership can affect players and how this can go very wrong. First off, when a node reaches the town stage, or 3rd level, players can buy houses, which in turn allows them to become citizens. At level 3, you can also start mayoral elections, at least for scientific nodes, and we'll get to the rest of the node types shortly. But citizens are then able to cast their vote for mayor. During the alpha test, there were only approximately 12 to 16 houses at level 3. This caused a mad scramble to buy up houses, and those who were out grinding and actually contributing to the node leveling up would just be out of luck. Those back in town selling or waiting were able to buy up the housing. Now, after a mayor is elected, they are able to construct different buildings, including instance apartments, which will allow more people to become citizens. But the current implementation of the system is kind of a feels bad, man. I would like to see some kind of initial auction where players can bid on the housing, or as suggested by one of my fellow content creators, It's Fane, a priority system in which those who contribute the most to the node get first pick and then it trickles down after that. A combination of these two systems could also work as well, where you earn some kind of points toward each of the node's progression and can use those to bid on the housing. These are just some of the thoughts on how we can better implement the housing system. Now let's talk about the Mayoral System, because this is where things can go majorly wrong. Also where the thumbnail and title clickbait comes from. First off, there are 4 different node types: scientific, economic, divine, and military. Each has its own system for electing mayors. Scientific nodes will be democratic elections as talked about previously. Economic nodes will straight up be auction for mayor. Divine nodes will be the citizen that does the most service-oriented quests that prove faith and dedication to the node. And in military nodes, players will earn some kind of currency that they can then invest into a champion or avatar, whatever you want to call it, and then each of these players' champions fights in a 1v1 tournament with the winner becoming mayor. A mayor will be able to set the tax rate, decide what building projects will start within the node, allocate treasury funds and node resources for various projects and defenses, mark foreign citizens as enemies of the state, declare war on other nodes, and more. I don't think I need to go into the ways a bad mayor can use this to ruin your day. Now, for the following discussion points, I want to clarify. When I say there is an issue or problem with something, I mean that it has potential to disrupt and upset people. I am personally all in favor of these systems, and the political intrigue was one of my major draws towards this game. I kind of see these systems as a massive social experiment where we get to see miniature forms of real-life governments and what people do with them. I do, however, think this is an important topic of discussion so people understand what they are getting into with a game like Ashes of Creation. You could spend months helping build up a node, only to have it all destroyed by someone who just wants to watch the world burn. Let's start with how scientific nodes select their mayor. This is basically just a popularity contest. It would be cool if candidates actually ran on political platforms, had debates, etc. However, it will most likely come down to which guild has the most citizens within that node. This isn't generally an issue because a guild that invested in the node will probably have its best interests at mind. The issue comes from celebrity candidates, such as large streamers. Asmon, for example. Now, I'm not saying he would do this, but some may not have the node's best interests at heart and make decisions to promote content and drama instead. Economic nodes have some pretty massive potential issues with how their mayor is selected. Whoever spends the most money becomes mayor. This may cause mayorship to switch between people and groups constantly, leaving the node with no clear direction. Also, the 1% in control may not make the best decisions for the majority of the node. The biggest issue I see here is an enemy node getting an alt or a spy into the node and stealing the mayorship out from under them. Absolute true corporate espionage. Next up, we have divine nodes. Seems like anyone who invests enough time questing and helping the node out to become mayor would be heavily invested in the node itself. The problem I see, however, is literal religious zealotry, where one large group comes in and just slays anyone that is not a part of their group. This could be a group from the node itself, or come in from the outside and take it over. Last, we have the military node, and this one just starts off with a lot of RNG. You could spend an entire month building up your hero, only to lose to Joe Schmo with no real affiliation to the node. Not to mention that 12-year-old kid that is way too good at micro in video games, who destroys you and then decides to make the node his plaything for the next month. These are just some of the ways that things could go very wrong for your node. If things like this happening is something that excites you, then Ashes of Creation is the game for you. Otherwise,
you're gonna have a bad time.
For those whose primary MMO experience is with theme park style MMOs, just understand what you're getting into with this theme box or sandbox style MMO. If you have any other ideas on systems within Ashes of Creation that may end up ruining a player's day, let me know in the comments below. Thanks for tuning in, see you on the next one.